Hello and welcome back to my scrap room. My name is Jennifer Perry and today we are going to be working out of the Holiday Expressions catalog. This catalog is available from September 1st until December 31st. And we're going to be working with the Oh What Fun papers. Now this cutting guide is going to be cutting two separate workshops. The first thing it's going to cut out is all three layouts, and then it's also going to cut out the coordinating bonus cards, which is right here. Now the reason I'm cutting these out at the same time is to get the most efficient cuts out of my paper. If I was to try and cut these at two separate times, I would confuse myself, I would confuse you. So I decided to just go ahead and combine this cutting video and get two projects out of one pack of paper. So the workshop item number is G1162 and the page number is 69 out of the catalog. Now I've gone ahead and pulled the base pages out, so those are already out and where they're supposed to be. And the first thing we're going to do, which is what we do on every layout, is cut the zip strips off first. I've got two separate project piles. You can't see them off to the side, but I have my layout bins off to the side, and then I have three little card iris containers off to the side labeled 4, 5, and 6. So the layouts are going to be 1, 2, and 3, and the cards are 4, 5, and 6. We're just going to quickly cut all of the zip strips off the paper. Some of them we're going to use, some of them we're not. If you hear noises, I have my window open. It is a bit warm in here today. I've had to turn the heat on in the house, and with the heat and these filming lights, it gets a little warm. So I've got the window cracked to kind of cool it down just a wee bit for me. So if you hear anything, that might be what you're hearing is out the window. The next thing we're going to do is cut off the zip strips here and then cut the PML cards and get those trimmed up. And you get two sheets of PMLs because they are vertical and horizontal. I'm going to leave that one together. There's one that I'm going to cut apart, but not that one. Now these PML cards are not just useful for your layouts, they are very useful for making quick and easy little cards, for mats for your photos. So say you didn't want to use the happy, but you like the round, around the happy, put a photo right there, cover it up. It's okay, it's your layout. So again, we're going to cut this, and this is the one that we're going to trim. So this little guy here, we're going to go ahead and trim up. I know we need that one. I know we need that one, so I'm going to go ahead and separate them. Okay, so before we do those, let's do these. We need, I'm not going to be using the fa la 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 la's. I'm going to be changing up the layout. If you're going to be using them, they go in the one tray. The second is the hearts. So let's cut that up real fast. Actually, they don't need to be cut. Oh yeah, they do. Sorry, I was looking at the wrong thing. So 1 1/4, and then I think that's 1 6 1/2. So they need to be cut at 6 1/2. And from my trimmer, 6 1/2 is about there. But you can check it. Nope, you can't check it. Yep, it does say 6 1/2. Okay, well. It says 2, so we're going to put it in the 2 pile. There are different lengths, but it says 2. So we're going to trust our measurements. Okay, the next one that we need are the Christmas trees. Where's the other one? There they are. These do not need to be cut. These go in the 3 pile. And then we need this one, one of these, and one of these. So these go set aside. So we need 4 1/4, and we need to cut 2 of these. These go into the card number 4, and then we need 4 1/4. We need 2 of those. And they also go into card number 5. And then we need 2 of these at 4 1/4, and these are going to go into card number 6. Okay, for the PML cards, this one goes into 1. Both of these go into 2. The arrow goes into 3. So set those aside. Okay, so we're looking for the small stripes right here. The back side is polka dots. And let me open it up. And the first cut we need is 7 1/4. Let me see, make sure you can see. You can, okay. So this is, oh, that went the back side. 7 1/4. And this will go into 3. The next cut that we need is 2 cuts at 1 1/2. And then we need at 6. So we're going to turn it over and do 6. And do 6 again. And all of these go into 2. And then for this one we need 1 1/2. And I think it is, nope, it's not, so we're going to do a little tiny cut. And then we got to do 2 cuts at 4 1/4. So this is going to be scraps, and these are going to go into card 6 pile. So our next is going to be again another 7 1/4. This is going to go into the 3 pile. And then we need 3/4 by 4. So 3/4. This is going to be scraps, so we can set that aside. And then 2 cuts at 4. This is scraps. And then these go into the 5 pile, so the card 5. Okay, so for this one we need a 6 by 12. And what's our orientation? This way, okay. So 6 by 12. And this is going to go in the 1 pile. Our second cut is going to be 6, which is already a 6 turn, and then 10. Can you see that? Yes, you can. Okay. This is going to go in the 1 pile. This one is scraps. Our second cut, the orientation is going to be this way. And our first cut is at 3. Our next cut is at 8. And this one's going to go into 2. Our next cut is going to be 2 1/2. This is going to go into 2. This one is scraps. And then we need to cut orientation is going to be this way, and we need 4 1/4. Is that really? Let me double check myself. Yep, 4 1/4. And then nope, I was wrong. Okay. 1 1/2. There we go. That's okay. So 1 1/2. And then 4 1/4 times 2. That looks better. There we go. That's the look I was going for right there. And I always cut that orientation wrong. It doesn't matter how many times I do this, I always cut it wrong. Anytime there's a paper with that type of pattern on it. So our next one is going to be polka dots. Do I have both sheets? I do. The first cut is going to be 2 1/2. And this is going to be for 1. And then 2 1/2 again. Except this one we're going to cut at 11, so we just need to cut 1 inch off. And this also goes into 1, and this one is going to be scraps. Our next cut is going to be 5 1/4, yes, 4 inches. And then 5 1/4. So 5 1/4 and 5 1/4. When this is going to go into 6. When we're cutting for 2 separate projects, you're going to see me always be cautious before I cut. So if it seems like I'm doubting myself, I'm double checking. You check twice, cut once. This is scraps. And sometimes I still manage to screw it up, but I at least check. And this one is supposed to be the scraps that we just finished cutting off that one sheet, but I can get a little bit more cut out of it. So this is what we just cut. I can get a little bit more, so I think I'm going to. So 2 1/4. And then this is going to go into 3. This is now scraps. And then I'm going to do another 2 1/4. This is going to go in 3 also. And then I'm going to do 3 1/4. Now this larger sheet, and it's larger because we cut that 2 1/4 off the other sheet, this is now scraps, but it gives us a more workable surface for another project later. Then we're going to turn this and do 4 1/4. And this is going to go into 3. And this one scraps. Anytime I can work it to where I get a little more paper out of my paper, if that makes sense, I try to turn it and work it every way I can to where I end up with more, or I end up with larger pieces of scraps, because that means I get to do more card making later on. So we're going to be working on the light side, and we need to cut at 4. And then turn it and do 2 more cuts at 4. And these go into 5. These go into the card 5 kit. This one, we're going to get 1 more. Oh, that's for the pocket page. We're not doing the pocket page. And then we're going to do 2 cuts at 1 inch. And then we're going to flip it and do 8 inches. So this part is scrap. This part is scrap, and these both go in the 2 pile. And then our next cut is going to be little 1 1/4. So I'm going to work off this side. Let me bring the camera closer. Okay. I'm going to work off this side, and this is 1 1/4. And see how if this paper is supported by working this direction? This paper is supported, so I can make the cut this way. If I was trying to do it this way, I would be trying to hang on to it and get a straight cut. This way, I don't have to hang on to it. Got a straight cut. So this is now scraps. Or in my case, could be extras if I screw a cut up. So I need to cut this at 4 1/4, and I need 2 of them. Uh-oh. See what I just said about making a bad cut? Oh, but it worked. Okay. Let me just flip it over. 4 1/4. There we go. This is going to be scraps. These are going to go into 6, your card 6 pile. Okay, so for your white daisy, I have already done these. I'll explain them to you in just a moment. We're just going to cut out this portion. I've already done these, and I'm going to walk you through it in just a moment. So we need 4 1/4 cut 3 times. No, we need 3 1/4 cut 3 times. 1, 2, 3. So this is one scrap that you've got to do what I'm about to show you in just a moment. This is the other scrap to do your cutouts, and I'll show you that in a moment. We're just cutting 4 1/4. And all of these are going to go into 3. Okay, so you're going to take, and you're going to do this part on your own because I've already done it. You're going to take these scraps, your stamp set, and your thin cuts. So there's your thin cuts, and there's your stamp set. And you're going to cut. First you're going to stamp, And then you're going to use your thin cuts to cut out your embellishments for your cards. Now if you're not doing your cards, you don't need to do this part, but if you are doing your cards, first you stamp, and then you put your thin cut over it. If you need to hold it down with a little washi tape, or if you've got a magnetic board that goes with your Big Shot, that works perfectly. Stamp first, and then you're going to use your thin cuts and cut those out. I went ahead and did it to save time for the next video. So it's at this point that we are done with the cutting guide. I'm going to clear the decks, and I'll see you one moment. Bye-bye.